Welcome to a new Daily Top Ask Reddit video. Today's topic:
People who were teenagers before social media existed, what was life actually like? We memorized most people's phone numbers since we didn't have cell phones either. If I was going to call my girlfriend, I'd call her house number and have to talk to her mom or dad before they put her on the phone. Her parents would complain if she was on the phone too long. God, that was always so nerve-wracking. It would sometimes take me 10 minutes to work up the nerve to call. Felt like I was saying, "Hi, I am trying to bang your daughter, can you put her on please?" You could do something stupid at 15 and only the 3 people there remembered it, not the entire internet forever. My childhood, high school friends talk all the time about how lucky we are for this. Facebook came into existence our sophomore year of college, but the document everything era of smartphones and TikTok didn't come to be until we were out of our wildest years. Thank God, there was that sweet spot for a couple of years where everyone had flip phones that could only text and make calls with batteries that lasted days. If you wanted to take pictures, you still had to bring a camera. That made life so much easier. Facebook was still fun and innocent, you could get in touch with people you lost contact with. Then all of a sudden phones had cameras and the internet, social media explodes as a result, Facebook turned to shit and it was downhill from there. "Hey mom, I'm going out to ride my bike," meant I was riding around the neighborhood to see what other kids were up to. Maybe I'd join an ongoing game of kick the can or join Steve who was already shooting hoops in his driveway. Yes, more random. I see kids today still doing stuff, but they waste hours texting back and forth trying to set a mutually agreeable time and place. Yeah, but sometimes we wasted time stopping by everyone's house trying to figure out where everyone went. I mean, it could still be an adventure, but yeah. I sometimes wonder how me and my mates met up without mobile phones. We just knew where everyone would be. You had to be a detective and track them down based on their last known location and the usual hangout spots. In the process of searching for them, you might run into another friend doing something else, and you just went with that. Timing was more important. If you said you were gonna meet somewhere at 4, you did that. And people didn't flake on plans as often, because you couldn't just text and say, "Yeah, I decided I'm tired, I'm not coming." We actually talked in person all the time. Yep. And if we wanted to socialize with someone in a different physical location, we'd pick up the phone and call their house, and hope they were around to pick up. And without smartphones and social media, there were even times when, get this, you'll think I'm crazy, we were bored. No, seriously, boredom. It was a thing before the era of constant, 24/7 stimulation. Then we would get up to the creative shit like burning things to see what color the flames would be, crawling through storm drains, riding our bikes everywhere looking for cool places to mess around, Pac-Man at the local 7-Eleven, etc. I miss being bored. Like, let's make a game of not letting this balloon hit the ground, bored. Or, let's see how long I can balance this pencil on my finger, bored. Not the kind of bored I get now where I have a bunch of stuff I should be doing. But I just don't want to, so I sit and mindlessly scroll social media. The anticipation of not knowing how your photos would turn out when using a single-use disposable camera, and then bringing the developed packet of photos to school to look through them with your friends, was so much fun. It was more personal, too. No photos of food. No lifestyle presentation. Just friends and sights. Nobody worrying about whether they looked cute or not. People having fun and capturing the moment, not the image. Photographs, not photo shoots. Heck no, there were no photos of food. You only had 24 photos you could take and they cost 50 cents each to get developed. Nobody was wasting a photo on a plate of food. Just drove around the town on a bicycle randomly visiting friends without prior confirmation. World felt very small, everyone knew everyone because there were no background noise. "Hi Mrs. Smith, is Dave in?" "No, he's gone out with Dean and Mike. I think they went to the park on their bikes." So begins an epic adventure where you cycle to the park, meet Martin and Mark there. They haven't seen Dave, but they're going over to see Alan's motorbike that he made from parts and he's going to jump it over the brook. So you go with them. Everyone takes a turn riding Alan's motorbike around the waste ground doing jumps over stuff. A weird man chases us and we throw rocks at him. Go back to Alan's where your bike is and Alan's mum says you can stay for food. So you ring your house and leave a message on the answering machine telling whoever gets it that you won't be back until it's dark. Unfortunately, your brother listens to the message and doesn't tell your mum until she's shouting your name out of the back door. When you eventually turn up, you are in minor trouble. There's a note stuck in your door from Dave. He called around with Dean and Mike. They are going to the park. It says, "A normal day, me aged about 12. You called people's entire residence. Not a person directly. No, you had to speak to mothers and fathers and little brothers and sisters just to get told the girl you were crushing on isn't home and can't come to the phone. When you hear that extra click and the voice of the other person gets quieter, you know someone picked up the phone and is listening in. I completely forgot about the listening in and it being quieter, lol. We had parties in the woods that were mostly sitting around on blankets and talking. Definitely a lot more face-to-face interaction. I'd talk to my best friends on the landline after school. We didn't text to confirm plans, so most plans did not fall through. We had an almost perpetual camping trip one summer. We'd acquired enough plywood and 2x4 lumber to build a platform 15 feet up between several trees. It would easily sleep 10 guys. We started camping out there a lot. Every kid in the neighborhood knew about it. It constantly evolved as people left hammocks and a fire pit and swings. There was the obligatory bag of scavenged Playboys. We'd camp at night, go home the next day to eat, go back that night. People came and went from the group of campers, but I'm pretty sure every night for a couple of months there were 3 to 20 guys camping out there. And of course it all ended when one mom decided it was too dangerous being that high and the county came and tore it all down. Og Karen. I read a lot more, like, all the time. I realize in hindsight I used books in the 90s, the way we're using our phone to doomscroll and numb ourselves. Except the former made me smarter instead of dumber open-mouth smile. It was thought-provoking entertainment one could only alone. You could talk to people about it, but the experience was wholly yours. Phones are the opposite, mostly. We carry the world's knowledge in our pocket and we use it to piss up a rope. Instead of typing this while I'm pooping, I would have been reading a shampoo bottle. It was messy and real, friendships happened face to face, mistakes didn't follow you online, and boredom somehow made life magical. Seems it was more genuine and raw compared to what I went through. Sure, on the other hand, these days I can keep in touch easily with people on the other side of the world. During my studies abroad, I think I'd have quite hard a time without family support if I didn't have the ability to video call them. I have friends that live in different countries and we managed to keep in touch only thanks to socials. It's not all black and white. No social media, no phones, so no camera phones. It was great. I did plenty of dumb shit and there is no real record of it that will forever be available out there on the internet. And if you did have a camera, it was probably one of those cheap disposable ones where everyone's eyes were red from the flash, and the pictures would usually come out blurry at best. We used to pass handwritten notes, memorize a phone number and hope a parent didn't answer, just show up to a house that had a pile of bikes in the front yard, and the amount of miles I traveled away from my house with a bike was insane as long as back by dark. You know, I thought I went miles away from my house as a kid. Only recently after looking up my old house did I realize all my friends lived within plus or minus 10 blocks of me. We put a lot of miles on riding around, but we never actually went that far. Lot more social. If you wanted to meet someone you had to leave the house. Pubs, bars, clubs were packed out at weekends. No mobile phones, so you had to remember numbers, or if you forgot it, go to the exact same club the following week and hope they turned up. Do stupid shit and deny it was you. No camera phones, no proof. I miss photographs. And physical photo album. Digital images in phones, computers are not the same. Easier to lose them, too. Sliding into someone's DMs required knowing the locker and writing a note. I miss it so fucking much. I don't even want to go back and be a teenager again. I really just want social media gone. I miss genuine interactions where you didn't already have pre-made assumptions about people. I sometimes want not only social media gone, but the entire internet. Certainly AI has shown itself to be not worth the costs, at least not yet. I'm skeptical it ever will. I loved the internet of the 90s and mid-2000s. It was such a magical place back then. I want the internet, but back when it was AIM, IRC servers, and at most MySpace, which I never bothered with. Also it was the Wild West. I once ordered a gigantic bag of coca leaf in the mail like a normal package. You could hack websites or networks with impunity. And I swear the average person you used to meet on the internet was so much smarter than today. Simple and more stimulating. You had actual alone time. If you have your phone now, you have everyone there next to you and you can check on everything at any time, and they could effortlessly check on you, so you're not really alone. But back then, if you weren't calling someone on the landline, and they weren't calling you, then you're just not talking to anyone. You have total privacy and control, but you had more incentive to hang out with your friends and have real talk and make memories, because sometimes it's that or be bored. When you got bored, there was no phone to grab, so you can still be bored but mindlessly take in color and noise. You actually had to get up and take care of the boredom with something real. Your computer basically was just for email, so not much entertainment there. But you could play a super hard single-player game that's not online or live service, just you and the game. Or a book, and it's just you and the book and no constant dings and buzzes from your time vampire rectangle of the future. You had the opportunity to have actual you time where nothing but what you were doing mattered, and no one knew about it unless you told them on the phone, in person, or email. To recreate the experience, you'd have to live in a cabin in the woods with a landline, a newspaper if you cared about that, and your game console, and some books and other hobby stuff. Throwing reels is not a hobby, it's just laughing gas to keep you sedated so you don't feel motivated to take action. Without social media, you could focus more on you and the life you have. Each day was a little different, and only you and your close friends were facing down the future. The world was full of wonder, not content. I was having a conversation with a friend about all the stuff we did back in the day, and he said, it was because we were bored back then and had to find things to do. Initially I thought I wasn't bored, seemed like we were always finding stuff to do. But that was what he meant, because we didn't have instant access to the whole world, videos on hand, 24/7 cartoons, high-level gaming systems, we had to leave the house to go find stuff to do. Which led to hooking up with friends face to face, building forts, riding bikes, BB gun wars, effing off, exploring in general. I tell my kids that an average Saturday for me was going out with friends, messing around until some old guy said, "Hey, you kids, get the F out of here." We would run off and then find something else to do until some other old guy yelled, "Get the F out of here." Repeat all day long. I wear the scars of my youth with pride. This one is from the time my friend pushed me through a window at the mall. This one the time a BB got lodged in my arm after we explicitly said no more than 3 pumps on the gun, etc.